You're coming out of the rain. It's a dreary Paris night. The rain falling in sheets, it's cold. You go into a jazz cafe. A man with a mullet is breathing heavily into a sax. It's so sensual. It's so sexual. It reminds you of the unbearable lightness of Robert Garnham. And to think I wasn't going to come along and do this today. There's a really good documentary on TV. It's set inside the Cocoa Pops factory. It is on again next week though, because it's a serial. I was in the doctor's waiting room the other day and I recognised the person sitting across from me, and I thought, that's Pam Ayres. It's definitely Pam Ayres. So I said to her, excuse me, are you Pam Ayres? And she said, yes, I am. I said, Pam, I'm really a big fan of yours. I'm a spoken word artist myself, but you really are an inspiration. And she said, you're taking the piss, aren't you? I said, no, I'm not taking the piss. She said, yes, you are. I said, I'm a spoken word artist, and I've really seen that what you're doing is at the cutting edge. And she said, look, I'm fed up with you people just taking the piss. If you don't mind, I'm just going to go to the next waiting room. So she went. She left me on my own. Anyway, after she left, I realised she'd left something behind. And here it is. I don't know whether to keep it forever or just put it on eBay, but I've got it now. It's mine. So, as a tribute to Pam, I'm going to read from her book. This poem's called In Defence of Hedgehogs, but her lawyers have told me I'm not allowed to do it unless it's somehow obscured or different. So I'm going to do it while eating some Melba toast. I'm very fond of hedgehogs, which makes me want to say that I'm stuck with wonder. There's none. Oh, sorry about that. I'll tell you what, I'm going to do one of my own poems. This one hasn't got a title yet, it's just called Poem. You gave me a lift home, but you had a yak in the back of the car. I wanted to tell you how much I loved you, but you had a yak in the back of the car. I said, pull over to the hard shoulder, I've got yak slobber on my shoulder. It's hard to whisper sweet nothings with yak slobber on my shoulder, and you had a yak in the back of your car. I planned all day to reveal my love and make plans for our life together, but when you pulled into the station forecourt, you had a yak in the back of the car. My hopes and dreams lay as tattered as the rancid fur on the flanks of the yak in the back of your car. We went to the McDonald's drive-through. We both had chicken McNuggets and the yak had a Big Mac. In the long silence that followed as you drove, I slurped Pepsi Max and the yak kept farting. The evening was not as romantic as I'd hoped. I built up the night as being the one, but the only intimacy I got was the yak resting its big chin on the top of my head, its stubbly beard and pungent aroma somehow putting me in mind of my Aunt Mavis. At the traffic lights, some youths pulled up next to us, yelled, "Hey, that thing belongs in a zoo," and the yak shouted back, "He's the only one who can drive." You got out the car to pay at the service station. I tried to make small talk with the yak. I couldn't get anything out of it. For an animal called a yak, it didn't talk very much. And just as I was telling it how much I loved you, it threw up on my lap. We snuck into a late night bar, you and me and the yak in a wig, but it got mistaken for Boris Johnson and we had to get the hell out of there. As we drove, we sang along to late night jazz, you and me and the yak in the back, soulfully, its beautiful crooning, fogging up the windows with yak breath. And I wanted to say, hey, forget the yak. I've got something to tell you. I love you, and I always have, but I couldn't, what with the yak in the back of the car, who incidentally was the only person there who was even vaguely horny. A psychoanalyst might say, We all have yaks in the back of our cars, to which I might respond, hey, I'm paying 60 quid an hour for this bollocks. And then of a sudden you whispered, hey, let's find a hotel and make out. And I whispered, what about the you-know-what? And you said, it's an aphrodisiac. So I just thought I'd leave with the following question.